Culver converts again.
Outside to Cordell. Pull up 20-footer. Good! Bounce past the Duffy's left hand.
CTV Sports!
Hello, and thanks for tuning in to this week's CTV Sports episode. I'm Karlee Schwartzkopf.
And I'm Olivia Landis, here to bring you some CSU sports updates. The CSU men's basketball team ran away with a 78-62 win over defending Mountain West champions Fresno State this past Saturday in Moby Arena. The win officially makes the Rams just a half of a game away from first place in conference and improves their record to 9-4. CSU started to struggle from the floor after throwing down the first bucket of the game, making just 3 of its first 14 shots. As usual, though, the Rams' defense came to the rescue, forcing 10 Bulldog turnovers that led to 13 points. With back-and-forth action throughout the entire first 20 minutes, redshirt sophomore guard J.D. Page came through with an intense last-second three-pointer, putting the Rams up 31-29 at half. The Rams came out hot in the second half, with Page leading the team with a career-high tying 23 points on 7 for 11 shooting overall. Senior guard Gian Clavel racked up 19 points, with Amagbo tacking on 17. Redshirt freshman Nico Caravaggio was a huge, big guy on the boards with 11 rebounds for the Rams. Up next, CSU gets a special Valentine's Day gift as they head to Laramie, Wyoming for the annual border war against the Wyoming Cowboys. Karlee, this was a pretty intense game. It was actually kind of slow, though, especially in that first half. We did not see double digits for either team until under 10 minutes to play in that first half, but Colorado State did end up coming away with the win.
Yeah, that first quarter was a little rough. It's some pretty sloppy basketball for sure. It kind of felt like there was almost a lid over the basket, but Colorado State definitely started to pull away a little bit in the second quarter. You know, going into halftime, Fresno State was only down by a basket, so they did play each other pretty evenly in the first half. It really wasn't until the fourth quarter that the Rams completely pulled away when Gian started getting hot and just made a couple threes in a row, and Fresno State couldn't come back from that.
I think one of the weirdest things, though, about this game was how Emmanuel Amagbo did not get his 15th double-double. He has 14 so far in the season. He's still leading the conference in double-doubles. He only snagged 3 rebounds, and he's one of the most consistent players on the team. So I think that kind of explains and really speaks volumes to how Colorado State was kind of out of whack, especially in that first half.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people look to Emmanuel Amagbo every single game for him to be just a consistent player, but sometimes it doesn't happen, and that's okay because Nico Caravaggio did step up. He's a redshirt freshman, big guy down low, picked up 12 boards, totally unlike him, which is pretty cool with this Magnificent Seven. You know, if one player is down, all the other guys realize they absolutely have to step up if they want to hang with any teams, and Nico did that for them.
Yeah, we talked about how home games are going to be the most important for Colorado State moving forward, only being half a game away from that first place tie in conference. With the Mountain West standings, Boise State is currently just, like I said, half a game ahead of Colorado State. This is so impressive. They're playing with 7 players. The Magnificent Seven, it's caught on. People are talking about this team. This is not something that's really common.
I think if people would have said that Colorado State would be 9-4 at this point in the season, no one would have believed them, especially when those 3 players got marked ineligible. Everyone kind of thought their season was over. Definitely completely not the story. It kind of makes you wonder, though, what could this team have been if those players were not academically ineligible? But this Magnificent Seven, if they can make it to the tournament and play great, honestly, this is something that people will be talking about for a long time.
I agree. Now, looking here into Wyoming's game tomorrow, this is this huge game for Colorado State. Really, every game that's remaining on the schedule is going to be a big game for CSU. They have one of the second toughest remaining schedules in conference for the rest of the season. It's really hard to win in Wyoming. Coach Eustace says it all the time. Wyoming doesn't have any professional teams, so these people love college ball. It's going to be a full house. It's going to be hard.
It is going to be hard, but Colorado State has also shown how well they can play under pressure in big situations. We saw them at University of Colorado this year completely surprise everybody. It's hard to play at Boulder, and CSU has won nearly every game in Colorado, so why not win the border as well?
Yeah, I agree. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing how this Magnificent Seven continues on for the rest of the season.
Absolutely. The Colorado State women's basketball team won an overtime thriller this past weekend against Fresno State. The Rams trailed most of the first half, but slowly chipped away at the Bulldogs' lead, cutting it down to 7 going into halftime. For the first time this season, the Rams, who are now 11-2 in the Mountain West, were not leading heading into halftime. It wasn't until the fourth quarter that the Rams started getting close to taking the lead, where they finally did so with 3 minutes and 38 seconds remaining. The Bulldogs fought back when Candace White made a jumper, giving Fresno State the lead 59-54 with 53 seconds remaining. The final play ended with Nystrom making 3 key plays. First, a layup to match the lead, then a huge block on the Bulldogs' final possession, and then sealing the game with an assist to fellow teammate Mayan Ham, making a last-second 3, sending the game into overtime. The Rams led at the beginning of the overtime period and did so for nearly 3 minutes. The Bulldogs went on a short run, now taking the lead by 1, trailing 64-63. Junior guard Hannah Traverti and Ham combined on the offensive and defensive ends to set up Nystrom's final play. Traverti converted on 1 of 2 free throw attempts to tie the game before Ham forced a jump ball to give the Rams the ball back with 11 seconds to play. On the final possession, Nystrom rose up over Faz Davalos from the free throw line and sunk a decisive jumper to give CSU a 66-64 win. The real story about this game was Colorado State senior guard Ellen Nystrom passed Becky Hammond for the most assists all time at CSU. Nystrom finished the game with 6 assists to reach 540 assists for her career. Nystrom also added a team-high 18 points and 6 rebounds to her final stat line. Up next, the Rams play at home this Wednesday, February 15th against the Wyoming Cowgirls. This is one of the final few home games, and all fans are encouraged to wear orange. Olivia, this game was pretty close for Colorado State. We haven't seen any games really go into overtime, and Ellen Nystrom obviously was hot, but the other players had to step up too, which is also a big story in that game as well.
Yeah, the Colorado State women's basketball team has been doing exceedingly well all season. However, they did just take a loss against Utah State last week, and now to have this close of a game against Fresno State, you got to wonder what's been thrown up there in the mix that's, maybe making them hesitate a little. But like you mentioned, Nystrom and her big day with breaking Becky Hammond's assists, over 500 assists on her career at CSU. She's actually reminds me a lot of the way Becky Hammond plays. That just speaks volumes to the fact that she's a team player. She's not all about just scoring and just herself. Giving those assists really helps the team out.
Yeah, if a player can rack up that many assists and still get that many points and average almost 8 rebounds a game, she is just a true player for Colorado State and arguably one of the best now. Ellen Gustavson, her good buddy, also got her 5th double-double that game. She's been a pretty consistent player too, and I think she's something to talk about as well.
Yeah, definitely. These are the two leaders on Colorado State women's basketball team. Coach Ryan Williams always talks about how these two are truly the ones that lead the team. They set by example. They're giving assists. Not only are they taking the buckets and the rebounds, but they're there to help the team out as well.
Yeah, and this next Wednesday they play Wyoming as well, which is a huge game for them as well. So if they can win this one, they took a little bit of break. They're 11-2 in the Mountain West. If they can seal another win, it's going to be another good confidence booster for them.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to the women's team as well.
It's time for a short break.
But up next, we talk some softball and track.
Tune in to KCSU, your student-run radio station at Colorado State University. Live 24 hours a day, every day at 90.5 FM and kcsufm.com. Live local new music now, and news, talk, and sports. KCSU, the radio voice of Colorado State, on the air since 1964.
You're watching CTV, produced by Colorado State University students, bringing you news, weather, sports, and entertainment from campus and beyond. CTV live Monday through Thursday at 7 p.m. on campus and Fort Collins on Channel 11. Repeats at midnight, 8 a.m., noon, and 2 p.m.
The Rocky Mountain Collegian is your student-run news and information platform. Pick up your paper on campus or around Fort Collins Monday through Thursday with special editions Fridays. And check out collegian.com anytime for all the latest updates. News, sports, entertainment, opinion, and more. The Rocky Mountain Collegian, serving Colorado State since 1891.
College Avenue has been your student magazine for the last 10 years. College Avenue prints once a month covering topics that are relevant to the CSU and Fort Collins community. We also print special editions like the graduation guides at the end of each semester, the best of CSU each fall, and the orientation guide each summer. Look for us on racks around campus, off campus, or online at collegian.com under the College Avenue tab.
Welcome back from the break. With springtime in session, it's finally time for some softball. The CC softball team traveled to Austin, Texas this past weekend to participate in the Texas Classic. The Rams started off strong against Maryland, pulling away with a win after 3 clutch home runs, but they couldn't keep the momentum going and were shut out the same day by tournament host Texas. On day 2, the Rams defeated Maryland yet again, only to fall to Minnesota in the afternoon, making the Rams' record a solid 2-2. The final day brought a bit of trouble for CSU, though, after losing to Texas again 7-2. The Rams pulled away in the season-opening tournament 2-3. Up next, Colorado State heads to Las Vegas for the Demerini Desert Classic, February 17th through the 19th.
The Colorado State men's and women's track and field team split up this past weekend, with the distance crew in Seattle, Washington for the Husky Classic and the sprinters and field events in Albuquerque, New Mexico for the Don Kirby Classic. Lorenda Holson, Mustafa Hassan, and Aaliyah P. each recorded marks among the best in the Mountain West, while Emily Romo broke the CSU record in the 400 meters with a time of 53.75 seconds, now making her the best in school history. Holson's time of 8.6 seconds improves upon her previous best of 8.13 seconds from last weekend. With Lorenda Holson's record-breaking performance in the 60-meter hurdles, Colorado State athletes now each own the conference records in the men's and women's 60-meter hurdles. Former CSU athlete Trevor Brown set the men's Mountain West 60-meter hurdle record on March 1, 2014 with a time of 7.73 seconds. Hunter Price continued the big day for the Rams with a personal best in the 60-meter hurdles, marking a 7.95, now the third best ever at CSU. Headed to the coast, the CSU distance squad shattered records as well, starting off with Jefferson Abbey, who clocked in a time of 7 minutes and 56 seconds in the 3,000 meter, running the second fastest time at CSU, just behind his own personal best first place. Numerous Rams entered the CSU all-times indoor top 20 in both men's and women's mile. Cole Rockhold ran a time of 3 minutes and 59 seconds, which ranks the second best in school history, and fellow teammates Ricardo Kempfrin and Patrick Monaghan both ran under a 4 minute and 7 second minute mile. On the women's side, Roxy Trotter now ranks 7th on the Rams all-time in the mile with a time of 4 minutes and 52 seconds. The Colorado State track and field team returns to action next weekend at the Joe Davies Classic in Golden, Colorado. The meet is scheduled for February 17th and Saturday, February 18th. Well, that wraps up this episode of CTV Sports.
Make sure to follow Karlee and I on our Twitter accounts and CTV Channel 11's YouTube page for current sports video updates throughout the rest of this semester.
For now, we will leave you with the best dunks, part 2.